Live Q&A time. First up from Bright Wendigo. If you were in Jerry's shoes, what would be your hard limit for how much you'd be willing to pay Dak Prescott? It's a great question. You run into problems here in terms of always trying to set a hard limit. You have to have one for each and every single player. I think the limit is a little bit more beneficial, a little bit more fluid for top players like the quarterback. You can't afford to lose the quarterback. The way I view it is I'm trying to juggle the two salary caps or the two franchise tags. You're already at $34.5 million at that point. That's the average there. It's 31, 37, which in terms of the way contracts end up being structured, you're probably looking with the next 3 years of that deal. At that point, it might end up being 40 or 44 million per year. So I think with everything put together, and we did this on a previous video, I think around the threshold, factoring in what the franchise tags look like and how that would impact a long-term deal, you're probably at around 40 million per year is around the hard cut point, because at that figure, you're probably better off just gambling with the franchise tags. From Luis Hernandez, if there was a 2018 redraft, do you think Michael Gallup would have gone higher? Absolutely. I mean, Dante Pettis went in round 2. The Niners would love to have a redo there. Would he have gone possibly as the first receiver off the board? Yeah, I still wonder if like a Courtland Sutton or DJ Moore or Ridley would have been in that discussion, but I think you would have included Gallup in that. Here are some of the guys we think could end up being the first receiver taken. From Bass Slayer, or Bass Slayer, depending on how you want to pronounce it, number 1, what are the chances we get Jamal now? I don't really think they've changed. We've talked about this a lot here at the Cowboys Report. The Jets still don't want to trade him. If the Jets decide, geez, okay, you know what, we are going to go ahead and move on, we are going to trade him, then things become a little bit more likely. It's not a surprise that Adams wants to come to the Dallas Cowboys. We've known that for 6 months now, 7 months now. That's not new. Yeah, he wants to trade. He's wanted to trade or to get paid. If the Jets tomorrow say, you know what, Jamal, you're right, here's a massive extension, you're going to take the money. So I don't think it's actually changed very much. From Troy Daniels, could the Cowboys do a 4th-year deal with a player option for the 5th in order to sign Dak? It's a clever idea, Troy, and I thank you for the super chat here as well. I'm not convinced that Dak's camp wants that. It could be an option. It kind of meets the middle ground, you know. I think Dak's camp is pretty firm on a 4-year deal. Maybe the whole uncertainty around the salary cap makes them change their mind or helps them change their mind a little bit. But I think it makes some sense. It does still give the power to Dak. Maybe the Cowboys don't want to do that because in the end, what's a 4th-year player option? All it does is give extra power to the player. So I think it's a creative option. I'm just not convinced either side truly wants that in the end. And we do have some Cowboys face masks on sale. If we're allowed to go to games this year, I don't know if we're going to be able to. Probably going to have to be wearing masks. So head over to chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. That is chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. They've got the individual ones. They've got the 3-packs as well. They are available. 3 for $24.99. The shipping times have come down on those as well, which is a great sign. So go check out that link in the comments and the description. Chatsports.com/Cowboys mask. From Tristan Brown, people need to understand that Dak wants 4 years. That is correct. The Cowboys want 5. Also correct, Tristan. Dak's contract will be $33 to $35 million, somewhere in that range. His contract will end up looking cheap compared to Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. I want to stay on this comment for a little bit longer here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much exactly right. I think that the Cowboys want a longer-term deal because that's what they've always done with some of their top-line players. Dak wants a 4-year deal, kind of like Russell Wilson has done. And you're right. Don't just look at it with as things sit right now. Even if the cap stays pretty flat, these quarterbacks are going to get paid a ridiculous amount of money. That's just the way the NFL is trending. It's not going to go in the other direction. So yeah, I think if you take more of a long-term view, it's expensive. You're not going to feel great about it. But in 2 years, you're going to feel maybe not as bad as you did when it was immediately signed. Eli Maynard, Harrison was laughing at this one the second he saw it. Trade a first and Brandon Knight for Jamal Adams. in theory, let's go with the Jets want a first and a third for Jamal Adams, which, okay, I think it might be higher for the Cowboys because the Jets are not happy with the Cowboys, just so we're clear. You're evaluating Brandon Knight as a third-round pick? Don't think so. From Cobra Clan Gaming Extreme, is CeeDee Lamb going to be a slot receiver or he means literal wideout this year? I think you'll see them move around a little bit. In general, you often see first-year players kind of struggle with press coverage in the NFL because they're just bigger and stronger and faster, these corners, than they face at the college level. And having someone play in the slot helps that out. So I think you'll see Lamb get some slot reps. I think you'll see Cooper get some slot reps. You'll see Gallup potentially get some as well. I'm not really concerned about where Lamb lines up. I think slot could be a good fit for him in year one because the physicality is going to be different than it was in the Big 12. But regardless of where he lines up, I think he's going to make some big-time plays for you. So are you guys happy that Dak Prescott is signing his tender? Type A for yes, type B for no here on our live Cowboys Report. Look, I think it's a good sign. I guess maybe a little bit surprised Dak chose sign. It does give up some of his powers and whatnot there. I think, again, these two sides are in theory and hopefully trending towards a long-term deal. As a double, triple, quadruple reminder here, the signing of Dak Prescott with his tender does not impact a long-term deal. That remains on the table. July 15th still has that option. All right, from the bat, trade a 2 and 4 and Worley for Patrick Peterson. If the Cardinals decide to move Pat Pete, I think your value is about right. I remain unconvinced that the Cowboys or the Cardinals are actually going to trade him. But if they do, maybe it's at the trade deadline. I think a 2-4 and another corner does make some sense. From JB_97, what is your prediction for the Cowboys record? We did break down the schedule literally minutes after it came out because we had it leaked in advance. I put them at 10-6. I think 10 wins is a really good over-under for that team given the schedule and, of course, assuming everyone stays healthy. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments as to what you think the Cowboys record will be in 2020. I like 10-6 for me. From Michael Carr, what is the best Cowboys jersey? Executive producer Brett never agrees with me on this. I'm curious what Harrison thinks, by the way. I love the white blues with the star on the shoulder, the throwback jerseys. Those are my favorite ones. Now, I don't mind the white. I don't love the blue, but the throwback ones with the stars on the shoulders, those are my favorite ones there. Speaking of jerseys, by the way, you can get 25% off at chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. Now, they mostly have the whites and blues on there, but there are some of the throwbacks available as well. 25% off for a limited time. If you didn't get your dad a Father's Day gift, it's a pretty good gift here. Or maybe you want one for yourself or for a friend because they're on sale and you're not going to find official Nike jerseys this cheap anywhere else. That's chatsports.com/Cowboys jersey. I am Jaboy. Trade for Budda Baker. I guess we just want to fleece the Cardinals today, right? It's not going to happen. I don't know why they would give up Budda Baker right now. So I like him, but just don't bother getting your hopes up there. All right, Mike Fletcher. Could you explain the difference between guaranteed and fully guaranteed money? I think that is the major issue with the negotiations. Fair question. So oftentimes there's two areas in the difference between fully guaranteed and guaranteed. The initial guaranteed money is normally just the signing bonus. The other two areas are, for example, roster bonuses that aren't going to be guaranteed until a year or 2 years from now. There's guaranteed for injury, and then there are also option bonuses. Now, the fully guaranteed money isn't as important to me as what I call the practical guaranteed money. That's what your first guaranteed money is. So, for example, let's say Dak Prescott signs his contract and he has a roster bonus in year 2. That's not going to be guaranteed money for him. But in reality, it's a practical guarantee because they can't cut him before that, so he's going to get the roster bonus. So the fully guaranteed is oftentimes a signing bonus. Sometimes they fully guarantee a roster bonus in advance. That's just one example, Mike, and I hope that explains the difference. If not, hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. I can explain it a little bit better with text than trying to answer it here live on the show. Now, speaking of the money here for Dak Prescott, make your best guesses here. Over or under $35 million per year for Dak Prescott. Type O for the over or type U for the under. I think it's a good over-under. Maybe it's 34.5. Maybe it's 35 even. Maybe it's 34.578, whatever it ends up being. I think it's around that figure, assuming it does end up getting done, which is why I see such a very different answer here. I see a lot of U's and a lot of O's, almost a 50-50 split. Many of you typing in your U as of late, but O's are making a comeback too. So get it going for me in the comments. O for over, U for under. Now, if you want the best Cowboys coverage, who else is live right now answering your questions, breaking down the Dak plans to sign his franchise tag tender news? Yeah, no one else is, right? So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. From Butterswag, who makes the bigger impact in the first season? Mike Nolan as the DC or McCarthy as the head coach? Geez. I'm going to go with McCarthy because I think the head coach is always the cop-out, cheap answer that ends up being correct. I do think you'll see an impact from Mike Nolan. My hope, though, that the biggest impact in the win-loss category ends up being McCarthy. Hopefully that his influence will help things out here as a better special teams, better defense, and it all flows up here with McCarthy being the common thread in terms of why the coaching staff ends up being better in 2020. From King Tuttt, Reggie Robinson as a cornerback safety hybrid and have Cheeto at corner since he is our best corner. I think that makes sense. Now, when the Cowboys mentioned possibly moving someone to safety, Robinson and Awuzie were kind of the two guys mentioned as potential fits there. I think for the issue for me for Robinson is that Awuzie, Lewis, and Worley and all those guys are one-year deals. Do you want to have Robinson play both and then move full-time to corner, or just let him be a full-time corner in year one and help accelerate, in theory, that development? I think it's a good question to have, and whatever camp looks like this year, I'm going to get a better insight to it. All right, Michael Carr, who has the biggest bust potential this year? I don't know. Take a pick of the cornerbacks, whichever corner you want. I am concerned about the secondary. I think there's a lot of high variance possibilities there, so I'll go one of the cornerbacks ones. All right, Tristan Brown, follow-up. Would you give up 2 first-round picks for Adams if you took a hometown discount or delayed his contract for another year or 2? I don't want to trade 2 firsts. And frankly, if you do a deal now for Adams, you actually end up, you can save money overall with the way you structure it. So I'm not that worried about delaying the contract, to be honest. I don't want to trade 2 firsts. I think that's a little bit too much for me. From Alejandro Gomez, and I'll start with a positive comment here. Cute dog in your profile pic. Should we pull Eli Manning out of retirement if we do re-sign Dak? He got some ring under his belt. I don't get it. I don't understand this. Do you mean don't re-sign Dak? Either way, this is no. This is just a no. Eli Manning's not better than Andy Dalton right now. He's not going to start for you, so I don't understand why you would ever want Eli Manning on the Cowboys. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.